New at noon, Blue Earth County officials are concerned about the integrity of the Rapidan Dam on the Blue Earth River. Officials say there is concern they will lose the dam. In this video, you can see water has already been going over and around it. The dam was built between 1908 and 1910 for hydroelectric purposes, and the average flow is 827 cubic feet per second at last report. It was more than 34,000. At least one person was killed Sunday in South Dakota, and evacuations were ordered in parts of Iowa after days of rain caused rivers to overflow in several parts of the Midwest. The National Guard is expected to arrive today in Waterville, Minnesota, where historic rainfall washed out entire neighborhoods. CBS's Jennifer Mayerly reports.
Here in Waterville, parts of the city are underwater.
They said it's only going to get worse, and so we're just bracing, and hopefully it's not going to get any worse than this.
A state of emergency remains where up to 18 inches of rain fell here. The National Guard is expected to arrive today and help with the rising flood waters.
We're making sure first and foremost people are safe, protecting property and protecting public infrastructure.
Parts of Iowa are underwater too. Drone video over Rock Valley shows only roofs and trees are visible from above. There were 250 water rescues on Saturday alone.
I can tell you the devastation is severe and it's widespread.
The state's governor issued a disaster declaration in 21 counties after more than a dozen rivers flooded in the northwest part of the state. In South Dakota, at least one person was killed after heavy rains and flooding inundated the eastern part of the state. Floodwaters there will continue to pose a threat. Across other parts of the Midwest, severe weather spawned 6 tornadoes that struck southern Wisconsin over the weekend. In Argyle, storms flattened the historic Apple Grove Lutheran Church, founded in 1893. Minnesota senators visited the area yesterday and said they're working with the federal government to provide more assistance to hard-hit areas. The chance for more storms here remains low, but other parts of the Midwest will be on alert later today. Jennifer Mayerly, CBS News, Waterville, Minnesota.
Iowa's governor says in almost every community impacted, the rivers crested several feet above record levels from the floods of 1993.